welcome to my channel. Uh-oh. Testing. Testing. Okay. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I asked what our conversation is going to be about. And what I heard is reclaiming your narrative. Actually, this came forward last night. I was having a conversation with one of my kids, and that was something that came up during our conversation. And it was this thing of really being moved to think about what that possibly means, not just for me personally, but for all of us as individuals, all of us as people in a powerful community here to help facilitate the types of change that the world needs, right? So I'm just getting some cards. I'm just getting some cards. Ooh, while I'm getting cards ready, I want to remind you guys, I totally forgot to do it last night because ADHD. I have the Tea Party link ready for y'all. Um, Definitely need a lot of energetic protection with all of the things that are happening. Yeah. hmm So I'm going to be live later today, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to do expedites. If you'd like me to work on you, scan you, do a reading for you, whatever it is, just click on this QR code or the link in the comment. If you are on TikTok, simply go to my bio, click on that link, and then you should see that same image, the Protection Tea Party image. Oh, so we're short on time. One of the cards fell out, and it's the time card in reverse. So this is telling me we're short on time, meaning you can't dilly-dally anymore. You can't pretend that whatever this is, and I don't know what it's going to be, but whatever this is, that you have all the time in the world, that you can take your time. You're not being told to rush, you're being asked to flow. Huge difference. Huge a difference. Okay, let's get started with the cards. Where is Soul going to have us talk about? Oh, this is very indicative. hmm It's not a bad thing. Ooh. hmm One more card just because, I'm a little bit neurotic like that. Okay. This is telling a whole ass story. Oh my lord. There's a lot of interference that's coming into play, and this interference is playing off of some type of internal process. So, this is you just absolutely sick of it. It's true. It's true. It's true. That's you just absolutely sick of it, right? Exhausted, sick of it, just, ready for life to take a different direction. You want to rebirth yourself, all of this beautiful stuff. But look, there is something, this right here, there is something that's trying to access your light, and you're completely oblivious. You're oblivious to this. Your narrative has been greatly skewed, greatly distorted by something outside of yourself. What you need to focus on is regaining balance, balance within the self, balance projected outside of the self. This type of balance means you're no longer afraid of your shadow, and you're not hell bent on simply existing in this bright, blinding light. There is such a thing as light blind, and a lot of people in spiritual communities have become very light blind. You've allowed someone outside of yourself to convince you that your shadow aspects are somehow evil. Evil why? Evil why? Evil why? If you don't have a solid answer as to why, then you kind of need to let go of that narrative. You kind of need to release that into the wind, just open your hand and create space for you to be able to receive a new way to see yourself directly from soul, not from anyone else. I'm not going to try and convince you that the way you see yourself should be this way or that. I'm just saying that there needs to be a change so that you can begin the process. And it's a very challenging process for most people. So you can begin the process of reclaiming your narrative. Okay, Ed on TikTok says, because the church taught us that. How many of you go to church? How many of you go to church? Ed, do you go to church? In your childhood, did you go to church at least once a week? I mean, we got to be careful about projection and blaming things just because other people taught us to blame other things, right? You used to. So, at what point in church were you taught that? I'm not trying to stick up for church. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. So, you used to. At what point in church were you taught that? And for everyone else, I want you to also think on that. At Sunday school, okay, exactly what were you taught? And how old were you when you were taught this? I'm just waiting for Ed to enlighten me about his personal history. What age did you learn this? You can do an age range if need be. So 6 to 11, that says we were sinners and going to hell. Okay, and what is your age now? So Ed learned this in church. This is his personal history. Ed learned this in church between 6 to 11 years old, and now you're currently 52 years old. At what point do you have to take ownership of your life? I was taught a lot of things. I was taught a lot of things. Things that are very detrimental to my perception of myself and the narrative that runs in my head about me, my purpose, my worth, my proper place within society. I was taught a lot, and it was very detrimental to me. You see, I'm 46, so I'm turning 46. Uh, None of what I was taught applies to me, and I realize that now. It took me a long time to begin shedding all of the things that I was taught and really truly reclaiming my narrative, reclaiming my right to have clarity over myself, to see myself with crystal clear clarity. We have to be careful about continuing our disempowerment of ourselves and continuing to run the very narratives that those of us who went to church, I went to church, Ed went to church, we were taught this. But after a certain point, we are the sole ones who are responsible for the continuation or discontinuation of the narrative that was impressed upon us as children. I've been on one today. I have. I've been just a little grumpy little motherfucker today. Can y'all stop the squeaking? Okay. Let me just breathe that out. I was at the gym today. I mean, I'm still in my gym clothes. I was at the gym and there was this genteel man who was on the leg press machine beside me, and he stacked it up with a whole bunch of weights, and it's like that's not impressive. I don't know. I think he was waiting for me to like swoon, and I was just like, nah, whatever. And then so I'm loading up weights on mine, and I had to do a lot lighter weights because my inner thighs have been dying for the last 3 days. And it was, I had to laugh at myself because this man gets up, he left almost, so it takes maybe like 7 plates on each side. He left 14 45-pound plates on this machine. And he gets up and I see him walk clear across the gym. And I was like, oh, okay. That's how you roll? Mind you, he's not bothering me in any way, shape, or form. Okay. And I'm over here sitting, contemplating, should I get up, follow him to the other side of the gym and be like, excuse me, sir, you didn't unrack the weights. And I was like, girl, you need to keep yourself seated in the machine that you're at, finish lifting the weights you need to lift, and mind your own business, which I did. I sat there and minded my own business. And then, like, maybe a minute later, and mind you, while I was minding my business, I absolutely was silently observing where he was going in the gym. Like, I know it was you, but I didn't say anything. I said it in my heart. And then he comes back and he finishes his workout. I was like, oh, girl, see what I'm saying? Mind your own damn business, girl. Mind your own damn business, girl. He wasn't done. He was getting his things from across the gym. Dang it, girlfriend. So, okay, I've been intense all day for no damn reason. And it's not even I want to fight people. I've just been like, I was functioning as the gym mom today. And I was like, girl, shush. Don't be bothering nobody. There were two people who were near me at the cables, and they were having a very intense conversation. Something was happening with a female. She was confiding in the male. I guess they're really good friends. And I wanted to stop my workout to be like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to compliment you on your therapy skills. Is this a friend or is this a client? And I was like, girl, mind your own business. Mind your business. So that's where my energy is at today. Just a disclaimer if I seem intense. It's just one of them days that a girl goes through when I'm nosy inside. Don't want to take it out on you. I kind of do, but I shouldn't. It's the truth. I kind of do, but I shouldn't. So there's this energy, right? There's this energy of accountability. And I feel energies much more intensely than the average person. So, what's happening today? It's the energy of accountability. Because I've been holding myself accountable for pretty much all my little mood swangs all day, my mood swangs. I'm also now trying to hold other people accountable who are none of my business. And I would say it's a good thing because it allows me to practice reminding myself about healthy boundaries, right? Like it's not my place to police you. It's not my place to this, to that, to anything. That is not my place. The only thing I have control and authority over is myself. It's okay for you guys to feel like you are needing to project things, but that's completely different than actually projecting things out. After a certain age, after a certain point in your journey and development, you are absolutely responsible for the way you see yourself, for the way you behave because of how you see yourself, for the ways in which you choose to cope. And taking ownership of these things, if they're negative, It doesn't have to be a negative, accusatory, very self abnegating thing. You see me taking ownership of the fact that I was just trying to be all up in everyone's business today. And I'm like, girl, no, no. Right. And I'm sharing that in a lighthearted way. I'm giggling, not to cover up my shame, but because it is kind of funny. At least to me, it's kind of funny that I'm like trying to be all up in other people's business, knowing damn well I don't need to be and I shouldn't be. And just acknowledging that while also acknowledging and giving myself credit for regulating that old toxic coping mechanism. The reason we oftentimes will project onto others and try and control others is because of the internalized chaos that we feel, but don't want to acknowledge or don't yet have the ability to make sense of, to identify that it's coming from inside us. Create the balance and the peace, and you won't be projecting your need to regain control of yourself, your behaviors, your narrative, projecting that out onto others and trying to control your environment. That doesn't make you a bad person if you have control issues. If you can identify that you have control issues, that's the first step in recognizing you feel wildly out of control within yourself. You feel disempowered. You feel like you're not seen, you're not heard, and you don't have a say in your life. You absolutely have a say. You absolutely have a say. So when we begin to be able to recognize these things, we can then begin to make the subtle choices, select subtly different options that eventually will become a very noticeable pivot away from that toxic type of behavior. Okay. This is not about you're a good person, you're a bad person, you're evolved, or you're still struggling. Like, we're all exactly where we need to be. It's about you recognizing where that is. Are you satisfied with where you're at? If you are, beautiful. You should be proud. There's still room for growth, but you should be proud that you finally reached a place where you feel peaceful with yourself. You're at peace with yourself. If you're not satisfied, well, what needs to be shifted? You don't need to become a different person. You just need to allow the shift. Allow yourself to pivot 1 degree at a time so that you can begin healing, right? Just healing. You don't need to be a different person. You don't need to be more like someone that you saw somewhere online. A lot of people fake their life online. I'm not saying all, I'm saying a lot do. You'll see people who produce content that presents their romantic relationship as though it's perfect, but behind the scenes, it's not. You'll see people who will present themselves as though they're extremely healthy, extremely fit. And they have their health journey figured out because they're the perfect size, perfect level of lean, and they have the muscles and, you know, but that's very carefully cultivated. It is. It is. There was this one content creator. I don't remember his name. I don't remember most content creators' names, but sometimes I come across his videos. He likes to call people out who try and like start drama at gyms, right? He likes to call out bad behaviors. Um, and one video that I came across of his recently, he was showing how this woman who is extremely lean, like you could see a lot of the muscle development. You could see a lot of the development and even the muscle fibers, the striations. You could see it through the skin. She's that lean. And he talks about, and I'm paraphrasing, he talks about how some people who don't know better will see that and think those are fitness goals. I see that because I'm familiar with health and whole being wellness. I see that and I'm like, "Ugh, that's a touchy subject." And he really goes into it, no holds barred. And he's like, this is evidence of an ED. That's a very triggering topic for a lot of people. This is not about fitness anymore, because to reach that very low level of fat, that's perfect for competition. But even those who are doing fitness competitions, they know that is not sustainable long term. It is extremely unhealthy. Women's hormones are often tied to appropriate healthy levels of fat stores. You don't have enough fat, uh, your hormones become very unbalanced. So people who don't know, they think that's something that you should strive to achieve. I mean, are you trying to get into a competition? Are you trying to prep for that? Because then it would be appropriate for that. And it would be for a singular event. And then you would plan how to return back to an appropriate, healthy level of fat stores, right? There's a very reason why I don't want to continue after I do a show or two. Once I achieve my goal, I have no intentions of continuing with competitions. I can and I will lean out as much as possible as is appropriate for the category that I'm trying to enter into. After that's done, no. Why? I know that's going to wreck my hormones. It's not healthy and it's not sustainable. We look at all the different things online and we try and adopt those things that are meant to appear very polished, very put together. And we try and adopt that into our narrative. We try and convince ourselves, well, this person online can do it, so I'm going to do it. That's going to be my goal. And it's like, is it healthy? Is it healthy? Because that should be the priority. Your goal should be what is healthiest for you. And what's healthy for me might not be healthy for you, right? This is about really owning your life, owning your journey, reclaiming your narrative. I was speaking to my son right before I went live, and I was joking around. I was like, ah, I got to get to work packing shit. And then I said, I was totally joking. And I said, I should stop joking around like that. Right. And he was reminding me that, yeah, he realized that what we say to ourselves, the way we say it, even if we're joking, it ends up becoming our reality. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's why I should even stop joking around like that. Because I actually love my job. I love our community. I love the work that I do. So I shouldn't joke around like that, right? Letting yourself know that you're struggling is not the same as taking ownership of an identity that is completely wrapped up, intertwined, and rooted in the soil of struggle. If that's what you're going to do, you will know nothing but struggle your entire life. That's all you'll know, because that's all you're looking for. It's not that that's all you deserve. It's that where your focus is the only thing you will notice. It's the only thing you'll notice. For some people, they'll be like, oh my gosh, what? 333? That means something? Oh my gosh, if the clock says 11:11, that means something? And now it's in your head. So whenever you see it, it registers. And you're like, I just keep seeing 11:11 everywhere. Well, yeah, because you're fixated on it. Doesn't mean anything good. It doesn't mean anything bad. It just, that's what you're focused on. And that's what you're focused on. Do an experiment today. If you go out, um, focus on white cars or whatever color. Pick a color car and focus on that. How many of this specific color car am I going to see? Whatever you're focused on, that's all you'll notice. Like, oh my God, there's so many white cars. No, it's because that's what you're focused on. It's what you're focused on. So if you focus on growth, healing, rebalancing, you'll notice how much you're growing. You'll notice how much life wants you to succeed. I think for some of us, we think that success is outside of our reach. Well, if you're faced the wrong way, yeah, that's out of your reach. You need to turn and face what it is you want. It's very simple, but it's very hard to give ourselves permission to do something as simple as pivoting. If you want what you want, you have to face it head on. If you don't face it head on, I mean, do you really want it? Is that what you really want? I need water. I gotta choke on truth. Hold on, guys. I do need water. So I said that there was a figure right here, right? So remember, this is you absolutely sick of this process. You're just over it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's been an intense process. You're trying to rebirth yourself. You have your power. You're tapping into your shadow, things that you've hidden from yourself. This is a beautiful balance that's trying to be established. And you're naturally doing that, even though you're over it. But here's the thing. There is something outside of you. And based on the shape of this, I'm going to make the assumption this is some type of feminine energy. It's trying to harness and siphon your light. You see that? It's trying to harness and siphon your light. So, what needs to happen? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to give you the confirmation. There is this upside down feminine energy who is extremely fixated on you. And they're trying to uproot your foundation. They're trying to get you upside down in the way you see yourself. This can be a person, right? It can be someone in your innermost circle that you trust but never earned that trust. It doesn't necessarily have to be a female, thank you, or a woman. It can be someone who is a male but have feminine energy. It's a very toxic feminine energy. There are different types of feminine energy. This happens to be a toxic one. Very jealous, very much about compete, compare. For some, it's starting to get specific. Okay, so this is not going to apply to everyone. For some, this is a female type individual, feminine individual who sees how magical you are and they're trying to emulate your magic. They're trying to copy you. I've come across a lot of, more than my share, to be honest, of people who are like this. They see how magical you are. They're trying to emulate you. They know that they can't be successful in siphoning your energy and destiny swapping you. That's sorry. They can't destiny swap with you as long as you're very solidified and balanced within your space. So they're going to go out of their way to try and absolutely wreck everything about you, bad mouthing you to others, bad mouthing your character, maybe creating some type of story, embellishing, trying to set you up. For some of you, you need to be careful about digital conversations that you're having, text messages, online chats. There is this potential that someone is going to try and initiate some type of conversation, some type of subject matter. It could be about someone, it could be about a topic. I don't know, but initiate that, hoping you'll respond in a specific way. Just get out of my chest, goddammit. All right. Sorry. That was good. They're trying to get you to say something in such a way where they can frame it and frame you. They're trying to set you up. This can come across as something like, hey, oh my God. I'm totally making up a name. Zoe is such a bitch. What do you think? Isn't she such a bitch? You know what she did? Oh my God. I cannot believe Zoe. And then what happens? If you have an issue with Zoe, maybe not that type of issue, but you kind of like, feeling some type of way. Maybe you're on the fence about Zoe's character. You say something. They're gonna completely remove the way they initiated that convo. They're gonna delete all those. And they're gonna screenshot and be like, Zoe, oh my God, Emmy's talking mad shit about you. I don't even know where this is coming from. She just started talking so much shit about you. Zoe, are you okay? I don't know why Emmy's being so mean. I've had people try and do that shit with me. General rule of thumb. If you're going to approach me trying to talk shit about someone, I'm going to ask you, why are you telling me this? I'm not going to join you in that conversation. I'm going to ask you, why are you telling me this? What's going on that you are telling me this type of thing? You trying to get me to talk shit too? I'm a very upfront, very blunt person. Yep. And you can rest assured, whatever I say without you present, if you ask me, did you say this? If I said it, I will absolutely let you know. Yeah, I said that. I said that. Don't set yourself up. Whoever and whatever this is, this right here, I think it's again Lilith energy. She's been a total spaz lately. Um, and here again, also. And I'm getting a secondary message that she's trying to siphon your energy by triggering childhood traumas. Childhood traumas, that's what she's using. Your power is in your wisdom. And this is designed to help your wisdom expand. So her hair is green. Green indicating that this is rooted in the heart space. Her hair looks wild and expansive. Your hair represents your personal power. And then, of course, we have this owl right here in her hair. Owls are indicative of that balanced, divine, feminine, matriarchal energy of Sophia. And Sophia is wisdom. Your power is in your wisdom. And what is wisdom? Wisdom is not always acquired through age. Wisdom is knowledge applied. When you go through things in life and you harvest what you've learned and then apply it when the situation returns or a similar type of situation is presented to you, you apply what you learned the last time you went through that. You've now entered into a space of wisdom. I don't think I'm wise. I see myself as just very having a robust opinion on everything. It's true. I have an opinion about lots of things. And I hear often, Emmy, you're so wise. And I never really quite understand why people see me as wise. people will also say something along the lines of, you're wise beyond your years. And it's like, bro, I'm approaching the midway point. I'm middle aged. What do you mean wise beyond my years? I don't understand. And one day I sat down and I really had to think about it. Ah, people are witnessing me applying the knowledge that I've acquired because I've been through so much in life. They see me applying it in my current circumstance, and it is received as wisdom because knowledge applied is wisdom. Knowledge in action is wisdom. So, whatever's happening right now, it's granting you an opportunity to further expand, further ripen your wisdom. In order to successfully do that, you have to reclaim your narrative. That's crucial. And as you reclaim your narrative, you can then begin sifting through your previous experiences earlier in this life, from childhood, young adulthood, whatever it is. Whatever you've experienced, it doesn't matter from what point in your life. When you've experienced something that's helped you to learn something about yourself and about how to more healthily interact with others and certain types of character, you apply that, you're developing wisdom, right? You're developing wisdom. Give me 1 second, guys. La 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 la. Bow to your partner, then you turn around. I forgot to set some stuff. Then you turn around. All right, give me a second. There we go. Oh, let me mute my. It's giving away what I'm doing. Oops. um. Okay. All right. All right. So now, now that we know there's this inverted goddess energy. Lilith is still a goddess. She does have some good aspects, but also some toxic ones. So, what we're dealing with is the shadow aspect, distorted, very convoluted and corrupted portions of Lilith's energy. It's very much compete, compare. It's very much about the fallen patriarchy. It's very much about destroying what threatens you. And what threatens you is something that you wish you were, but don't have the courage to become. That's some crazy shit. My brain doesn't work like that. And I don't understand how other people function like that. But I do acknowledge I've come across enough people who do to recognize this as something that is very common. Unfortunately, that is what we're dealing with. So it's going to come in different forms. It's going to be something that you have to make sure you don't allow to enter deeply into your sense of self and your narrative about yourself. If you do, that's going to create one hell of a storm, adversarial storm. It'll grow you. But I mean, do you have to go through that? If you can learn something without having to go through the worst case scenario, your soul will not force you to go through a worst case scenario. If you don't learn it, then your soul will continue to escalate the circumstance, amplify the adversity within that experience until you get to a point where every single part of you that is fighting the process that's going to take you to the other side of your fear has been completely deconstructed. And that feels like destruction. Destruction and deconstruction. What's the difference? the intention and how you see it. Destruction is just wildly destroying things. You see it as being destroyed, being wrecked, right? Um, when you go to, what is the word? You're redoing your kitchen. I forgot the word. When you're redoing your whole kitchen, right? You want new cabinetry, you want new this, you want new that. You have to demolish it. Remodel. Thank you, Elisa. I was like, redo, revamp. Those are not the words. When you go to remodel your kitchen, you have to take everything apart. Whatever's not going to continue to be used must be removed. You can either do it by unscrewing everything and being very careful, or you can get a sledgehammer and just knock it out of there. Just that would be so fun. But your goal is not to destroy your kitchen and leave it destroyed. Your goal is to remove the unnecessary and then clear it out and then install the new stuff, right? Destruction and deconstruction. See, if you realize what's happening, you're simply deconstructing things. If you're going to reuse some of those things, you're going to deconstruct it. You're going to carefully unscrew, carefully dismount, and you're going to do so in a way that will preserve whatever it is that you're planning to reuse. If it's something that you're not going to reuse anymore and you have no purpose for it, you can absolutely be destructive as you remove it. You can shatter it. You can rip it out, whatever it is you need to do, right? Are you being destroyed or are you experiencing deconstruction? I used to think that life was trying to destroy me, that my soul was using my life to destroy me. And then I reclaimed my narrative and I realized I wasn't being destroyed. I wasn't experiencing destruction. I was experiencing deconstruction. The parts of me that no longer apply were being tossed out. And if I identify as that, it was very destructive to my sense of self. But when I began to realize all these parts of me that I think are my identity, but are actually nothing but a conglomeration of other people's opinions and expectations of me, I began to realize, oh, that's not me. Who am I? And as I reclaimed my narrative and gained clarity on the reality of who I am, not the characters that I play to appease the people in my life, but who I am in my actuality. What ended up happening was I began to see it as a deconstruction. Okay, my soul is taking certain parts of my life apart right now. It's carefully setting aside the things that are going to be used to build me back up in a more fortified, more appropriate, and aligned manner. And the things that are unnecessary, I don't have to worry where that goes. I don't have to be like, I'm being destroyed. I have to be like, okay, this is challenging me. Why is it challenging me? What is it challenging me to do? And oftentimes the challenge was as simple as an invitation to see myself and my life in a different way. That's it. My soul was not trying to make me into a different person. My soul was not trying to communicate to me that I am broken, that I am destroyed, that I am worthless, and that's why I have to change. No, my soul was like, hey, it's a little bit rickety. We need to fortify this. So we kind of need to take it apart because it's down near the bottom that the imbalance is, and we need to realign that. It's the equivalent of having an IKEA shelf that you're trying to build, and it's just pictures. Y'all, it's just pictures. And if you're not paying attention and you accidentally put something where it doesn't belong, and then you're halfway through and now it's like the shelf is leaning. It's not because it's a flawed design. It's because you weren't paying attention at some point, and you need to take everything apart to that point so you could put it back together properly. That's the deconstruction that's happening, right? You're not trying to destroy everything. You're trying to refortify yourself so that you can be more properly aligned for what it is your soul needs you to do. That upside down feminine energy that's trying to wreak havoc in your life, it will be contained if you allow it to be. It'll be contained, but you have to give yourself permission to contain it. For many of us, we are afraid to contain it because what if we're wrong? What if people think we're mean? What if this? What if that? Okay, soul's letting a secret out. You're not mean, you're just highly intuitive. Soul says to share this with you. Every fucked up circumstance I've ever experienced in my life, my intuition warned me and I ignored it because I didn't want to be mean. This is the most fucked up part. I ignored my intuition telling me to steer clear of specific people because I did not want to be mean to the very person who was already fucking plotting to destroy me. Bitch, what the fuck? Are you serious? Oh, I'm so serious. How does that even make sense? I don't know, somewhere in my head, in that space in my head where I hate myself, it made absolute sense. I think now it doesn't make sense because I no longer hate myself. Ain't that something? Now, when my intuition tells me, hey, this a trifling ass demon Horita, I'm like, I'm sure they're very sweet and very nice and very loving to people who they can establish a healthy connection with. I'm not able to establish that. There's something about me that's going to encourage the ugly behavior that they're also capable of. So I'm sure they're a nice person, but they're not going to be a part of my life. I'm not saying anyone is anything bad. How does that make me a mean person? I allowed myself to pivot so that I could better reclaim my own narrative. And now that I've reclaimed my own narrative, I can see myself with clarity. I'm actually not a mean person. I'm actually a very loving, very patient, very kind and generous person. And not everyone deserves the totality of that part of me. I do have the capacity to have moments where I'm exhibiting mean behavior. Well, it depends. What did you do to me? What are you trying to do to me? Because that's what's going to determine me choosing to allow that very real potential behavior to come out of me. Right? I don't remember where it was or when it was. There was this individual who was like insisting and insisting and insisting. It was just this feeling that comes to mind. I don't remember the exact circumstance. I don't know if it was online or if it was in real life, because the way I am in real life is exactly the way I am online. There's no character. Seriously, there's no character. So I can't remember exactly where it happened, but it's this feeling that returns to me where an individual kept insisting and insisting and insisting and trying to force. And I was just like, if you could please stop. It's kind of like disruptive, or no, thank you, or whatever it was. I was like trying to be like, no, like separate, no. And then they kept insisting and insisting until finally I was like, shut the fuck up. And they're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, you wanted that reaction out of me? Now I'm choosing to give it to you. Fuck out of here. I can be mean. But am I a mean person? It depends. What did you do? What are you trying to do? Because that I'm not just naturally that, right? You guys have to recognize when you're that way, meaning you are not a nasty, mean person. Existing potential to come out of you in response to someone's absolute disrespect of your boundaries that have already been communicated. Part of how you reclaim your narrative is about seeing that these parts of you, these ugly behaviors that you are capable of, those are the parts of you that are the most perfectly calibrated to protect you, to defend you, to speak up for you. I've learned to love that part of me. So, my childhood, my early adulthood, um, those were environments that were extremely chaotic. I have a tendency to over explain myself because I was raised in an environment where it was a constant war zone and I constantly had to protect myself. So that's part of my character, right? Is that my primary character? No, that's my defensive character. And I used to be very ashamed that I could reach levels of aggression that are very unsavory, very just nasty, right? To be very ashamed of that. And so to overcompensate for that, which overcompensation is yet another trauma response, to overcompensate for that, I would be excessively patient and accommodating to pretty much everyone. So fast forward to 2017 when I finally allowed myself to be publicly visible. And I was eyeball deep into overly accommodating. Excessive degrees of unnecessary shame for the parts of me that have the capacity to stand up for me, to enforce boundaries. And you know what happened? I thought people couldn't um, handle me in my most authentic spaces. So a character was created that enabled maltreatment of me on a consistent basis by anyone. I tolerate it. Absolutely. You wouldn't even know something's wrong. It's very good at masking, right? And I thought that if I did that, it would prove to people that I'm a good person, that I'm a real person and I'm a good person. And I have earned your respect and consideration, meaning you won't treat me badly because you will consider the fact that I am a good person. I don't harm others. And so you won't be hurtful and harmful to me. It will be a reciprocal thing. And you know what happened? Not a single thing of that. Not a single thing of that. My reach was profound on social media. Yeah, over 500,000. No ads, no gimmicks, no nothing. How did I do that? I broadcast into the world. I am a doormat and there's no consequences. I will give you anything and everything you want, and there are no consequences. I will never hold you accountable for your actions. And boy, oh boy, that's how I learned the world is full of distorted perception and entitlement. The world is not wicked, it is full of unbalance, imbalance. Yeah. And then life happened. Life as instructed by my soul happened. What do I mean by that? Well, it started with one trick ass fucking bitch. I don't like her, and I never will. I haven't forgotten what you've done. Yeah. Including attempting to unalive me using black magic, convincing someone else. On my birthday, too. I haven't forgotten what you've done. So it started with that person who I never did anything wrong to. And that person continued cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle, recruiting more and more and more people to join this motherfucking melee. Everyone focused just on me. For what? What did I do? I invited it. I invited it. I allowed it. I fed it. I sustained it. Because deep down inside, my narrative was that I deserved it. Did I? Well, if I believe it, then of course. When I reclaimed my narrative and I began to see, like, I never deserved none of that fucking shit. I didn't deserve any of that. Then I began to get clarity. Then the part of me that has always been more than capable of enforcing boundaries, more than capable of defending myself, speaking powerfully about what I will allow and not allow, I let that motherfucker out the cage. Did the world celebrate when I finally did what was necessary? Meaning, stand up for myself. No. No, it did not. Thousands of people angry with me. Why? Because I was no longer an energetic buffet. The entitlement that I created, I take ownership of what dynamic I created on that platform. I did not know as I was creating it what I was creating. Clarity comes after the fact, after the experience, after the perception of destruction and pain. And when everything settles, you gain clarity about what you allowed, what you invited, and what you always had the power to correct, but didn't. It's not about blame. It's about seeing your authority over yourself and how you're using it. So I saw what I did. I saw what I created. Am I angry with those people? The one they initiated all the fuckery, I'm absolutely angry with that person. You fucking bitch. Uh-huh. Everything else is kind of like, okay, the way I can avoid is like super impressive. Soul definitely had to do all of that so that I couldn't avoid it. So I get it. Those people were seriously just being used to help me learn something in a very elevated, very intense, unavoidable way. And the type of growth I've experienced is profound. Profound. I will never return back to that. Is it because I'm ashamed of it? No, it's because I understand now I deserve more than what that is. What I experienced, the excessive entitlement of me, did that make me close down and like I'm never going to give anyone anything again because fuck that shit, people are users and then this and that? No. It's if my heart tells me to give, absolutely I will give. I will always be a giver and a lover, an empowerer, a nurturer. That's my nature. To ask me and expect me to not do that is to ask me to deny the truth of my being. But I've learned I'm not to do that for everyone. Because to do that for everyone is to exist in the same space of insecurity, where I'm trying to secure my space in your life by overgiving. And here's the real truth: I wasn't just overgiving, I was unknowingly creating a dependency and an addiction to me. I have a very addictive energy. People be fucking, they just won't leave me the fuck alone. I'm just like, listen, didn't I tell you off last week? Like, why the fuck are you still here? People don't care. Thank you, Lindsay. People don't care. I can be like, you disgust me. And they will create a new account and come back on the live stream as though I never said anything. I'm aware at this point, I have a very addictive energy to other people. Why? Because my energy invites you to be yourself. Not only do I listen, I also don't judge. It's kind of just like, no, things happen. Things happen. I draw a lot of people who struggle with substances. Why? Because I'll enable them? No. Because they can feel deep in their heart. They feel it. They know it. I see through to the core of you. I see the pain that you hold. I see and know how alone you feel in this life. And that's why you try and numb the body, numb the emotions. And I don't hold that against you, but I also offer my hand to help pull you out of that, because your value in my eyes is still intact. My narrative is now my truth. I don't tell myself a story about myself anymore. I accept who I am and the way I function in the world that we are in right now, knowing the way I am is the future of the way humans will be for themselves and for each other. And that is the gift I'm leaving the world. How will I do this? Save people? No. By simply letting you witness me being myself, with no apologies, no excessive explanations, no trying to justify, just that this is me. This is all I can be. And I know I'm very triggering to a lot of people just by being me. Why? Because even though I'm simply speaking to a green dot beside the camera on my monitor, um, people receive the words that come out of my mouth. And those words hold them accountable for things they know they're doing or not doing for themselves. Change your narrative, reclaim it. Your lack of dedication, your lack of intention, that's the very thing that's causing your magic to be drained and utilized by something that wants you to fail. It's up to you if you're going to allow it. I don't get a say over your journey. I'm simply here sharing what I've experienced, the way my thoughts about it have formed, and then allowing you to receive or reject my sharing of my life and my thoughts, and that's that. If you're able to go ahead and see that when I speak about myself, I'm actually giving you in real life examples of how you can implement, how you can go ahead and learn through your life experience. You see, some people who are not ready for growth, and I know this is going to rub people the wrong way, but it's the reality. Some people who are not ready for growth, they'll hear me speaking. And instead of being able to apply the analogy between my life and your own journey, they'll think, this girl is so full of herself. She just keeps talking about herself. I'm not for you, babe. You're not ready. I said what I said. You're not ready. For those of you that are ready, don't stop the learning when the live stream stops, when the video ends. If you have the elevation in intelligence, intellectual as well as emotional, if you have the elevation in intelligence that allows you to receive me sharing my life experiences as a form of spiritual analogy for how you could potentially navigate through your journey, don't stop with me. Everyone that you see in your life, you can do this. You see a friend is struggling through something. You're aware of the struggle and drawn to the details because it's a reflection of some circumstance in your life. How are they navigating that? What ways can you see? Because you're emotionally removed, right? You're not in the circumstance, you're observing it. What way do you see that they could have done something to be more efficient in the healing? Well, now you know what you could do for yourself. That's a beautiful thing about allowing people to witness you and then allowing yourself to be open to witnessing other people just from a space of neutrality. You're then given some life hacks. You're given tips and tricks to make your circumstance much more easier to navigate. How would you help to remove my money blocks? Well, a money block is an energy block. Money is currency, currency is energy, energy is what your system is made of. You reprogram, you repattern, those pathways should open up. But if you don't shift the way you see yourself, they will once again atrophy. Energy workers need to know this. If they are actually truly skilled in the way they claim to be, which some are and some aren't, use your discernment. An energy worker who truly understands energy knows they have no long term authority over you. They can reprogram, repattern, adjust your energy in whatever way they're trained to do, but it will not stick if you don't allow the adjustment to become permanent. Example, I'm very, very, very good at the work that I do, right? And yes, I'm tooting my own horn because it's factual, right? So I do extremely advanced energetic reprogramming, repatterning, all of those different things. Years ago, I helped a client correct a lot of the energetic blockages, misalignments, fascia work, all of that lovely stuff. And because of the work that I did to correct their morphogenetic template, their fibromyalgia symptoms, which were severe, completely resolved. And they were like, Emmy, you healed me. And I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about claiming I healed you, but I did correct all of the energetic stuff. And because they were in my presence and they were no longer in pain, their continued growth, emotional development, intellectual development, it was continuing. They weren't regressing. Then something happened to me, right? There was a conflict that was initiated and it was targeting me. And it again, I never start shit. It's kind of just like, motherfuckers. I would understand if I start shit. I never start shit. So this person started shit with me. And I'm just like, whatever, full avoidance, right? That specific client began seeing me as a friend. And so what they decided to do was revert back to their old toxic bullshit. They went and they started a big fucking fight with that person publicly. My issue with that was the fact that they spoke publicly as though I was the one giving them information And they were functioning as my mouthpiece. I never even spoke to them about the circumstance. I didn't speak to anyone about the circumstance. I was just like, oh, whatever. That's some fucking stupid shit. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. And because they did that, then other people thought that I was talking shit behind the scenes, which I didn't like. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna just back up because this is some fucking bullshit. Y'all are fucking drama. I'm gonna just back the fuck up. This is like, I'm good. I'm good off all this shit. And because I backed up, that further amplified that person's toxicity. And they returned fully back to their toxic, mean girl, drama loving state. That's how I found them. That's how they were when they found me. They went right back to that. So then a couple weeks later, now this person's pissed at me because I'm like, I'm good. I'm not thankful for that. That started more drama. Please don't speak on my behalf. That's all I said. So a couple weeks later, that person reaches out and they're now extra pissed off. Because why? Emmy, I thought you said you healed my fibromyalgia and all my symptoms are back. Well, yeah, because you reverted back to a raging fucking bitch. That's why. What the fuck? I told you. If your mindset shifts right along with a healing, you don't revert back to that state. But if you return back to the same toxic fucking shit that you are so addicted to when you found me, all the symptoms that erupted from that mental and emotional state will come back. And so now I'm the bitch. Because I'm the liar. I'm the scammer. No, 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 I'm not. I've never claimed to have that type of long term authority over someone. I simply facilitate. I help you get over the hump. If you choose to come back over the hump to the same spot, all that shit will come right back. That is on you. I clearly express this to all my clients. You have to continue. You have to continue your growth and your expansion. You do that by going deeper and deeper into your own narrative. What parts are still mildly distorted? You go deeper and deeper. You'll further refine. You'll get further clarity. You'll reclaim more of your personal power, and you will be less apologetic for being the profound being you actually are. You're very close to achieving your goal. It's a win win outcome. That's what's forecast, a win win. You're about to change your life. Yes, it's a scary thing. Yes, it's something that you might feel like, what if I don't? What if I fail? Pivot again. Try again. There's no time frame. There's no limited number of um, attempts that you can make. Like, keep trying. If you want something really bad, you keep going. You keep going. Invest in yourself. Nothing is yet set in stone, so things will fluctuate. You'll experience moments of profound expansion of awareness, like, oh my gosh, I'm finally starting to understand myself. Like, holy crap, it's making sense. I am powerful over myself. And then, of course, you'll have a little bit of backsliding, right? Where it's like, oh my God, I'm so weak. I'm choosing my old coping mechanisms. When you start to think that, you need to then recalibrate. Okay, yes, it's true. I'm allowing myself to backslide into a space of less power over myself. I need to double down and commit more of my energy, time, and focus on pushing forward. That's all you have to do. A personal issue reaches resolution, it's in reverse. You got to stop lying to yourself about your limitations. Your limitations right now. I would say about 99% of the world. The limitations that exist for you are what someone convinced you was your limit. The only limits that exist for me are the limits that I wholeheartedly believe in. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. The limits that exist for me are the limits I wholeheartedly believe in. Damn. If you let someone convince you that your limit is where they say it is, that will be your limit. I remember years ago, um, so my husband and I, we don't drive with a trailer hitch very often. So we're not very well versed in that. One time, and we had just bought this like little toy hauler trailer, right? We had this trailer attached to our vehicle, and we were trying to back the trailer into a very small garage space, a single car garage space at this Airbnb that we were staying at for a week. And I was trying to give my husband instruction from outside of the vehicle. And again, we're not good at a trailer hitch. So he got frustrated. He goes, "It's not going to fit." And me, I have some ridiculous spatial reasoning. It's part of my like dyslexia, ADHD superpower. I can look at something and be like, "Nah, that shit will fit." And you'll have like half an inch on each side, but it'll fit. So my husband's frustrated. He goes, "Well, then you do it." Because he's like, "I reached my fucking limit. You do it. You want it in there so bad, you do it." I said, "All right, I'll do it." And so I did. It was literally like maybe an inch or half an inch on each side. Shit fit like a glove. Slid right in. Was it because I'm a better driver? No. It's because I was faced with the challenge, with someone telling me, "This is your limit. You cannot cross this." And boy, the type of rebellion that lives in my heart. You tell me I can't do something just because you can't? Motherfucker, let me show you. Let me fucking show you and look good doing it. Because I got attitude sometimes. And as I began actually lining it up and getting the trailer in there, he was like, "Yeah, you can fit." He was super excited. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because he witnessed me doing it, Miss ADHD dyslexia over here, literally, I have the diagnoses. He then realized, like, oh, we can do it. He backed that shit in every single time. Yep. Sometimes the reason you go through the struggle you go through with no one in your environment being able to cheer you on and prop you up and all of these things that we expect from the people we love is because they don't think it can be done. And you are the one that has to show them, yes, it can. And then they give themselves permission to do it. I'm a very ballsy person. I will admit that. Um, my husband always tells me, you got big ass balls." Because I do. Because I do. So another time, we were at the gym. My husband is like legit 100 pounds heavier than me. He's like swole as fuck. And there was a time where, what do you call it? He didn't think that I could lift the entire rack on the cables doing a row, just pulling it, right? Because I'm not a very big person. Michael says, "Say it." I'm a little person. I'm not that little. I'm fucking full size Asian. Stop it. I'm full size Asian. So, um, I asked my husband, "Do you think I could lift it?" And he goes, "Don't hurt yourself, because I can hurt myself if I do too much." And because he said that, I was like, "Shit, lift the whole rack. And so I did. I rode the entire rack 15 times, did an entire set. And he looked at me like, and I was like, you could fucking do that too. I don't know why you're lifting light. He wasn't that far from the rack. He wasn't that far from lifting the whole rack. He's much more cautious. That's why we make a good pair. He helps to temper my brazen big baldness. He does. He's like, slow down, slow down. And I'm like, we gotta go. So it makes a good pairing. We find that middle point. Just like he benefits me by helping me to slow down and like be a little more logical sometimes. I help him by letting him know, like, the fuck, you could do that shit. Just always poking him. And he does. He's able to do all the things, but he needs me to be like, no, you can do it. You can make it happen. Right? He laughing. It's true. It's true. I didn't want to pay for some engine work, not engine work. I think replacing the brakes or something like that, or I don't know, something. And he goes, I can't do that. And I was like, yes, you can. Just go on YouTube. Just find the YouTube video. I believe in you. Because I didn't want to pay. Hey, he said, no, I can't. I don't know how. Because he'd never worked on that type of vehicle before. I was like, I believe in you. Fucking make it happen. Hey, he made that shit happen. He made it happen. Sometimes. And he'll tell me sometimes, like, stop bullying me. I'm not fucking bullying you. I'm forcing you to reclaim your narrative. But that's him going through the process to realize he shouldn't believe in the limits he's placed upon himself. That he is highly fucking capable. And as the years have gone by, he's starting to really believe that he's highly fucking capable of anything and everything. It doesn't matter if you've experienced it before. Communication is key. Communicate with your soul. Let your soul know, I'm confused. I need you to clarify. I don't understand. And soul, I promise you, will clarify. You're not innocent. You're not innocent. Your lack of experience is distorted. Don't use your lack of familiarity with whatever cycle you're in as a viable excuse to not move forward. Like, make it happen. Change that narrative. Reclaim it. Reclaim your power, your ownership over yourself. You're going through a cycle of shedding, or you're going to go through a cycle of shedding. That means the versions of you that have existed that have greatly believed in certain limitations that were never accurate for you, those are going to be shed. You're going to feel very vulnerable as this happens. You're going to feel very exposed, very vulnerable. It's normal. You get past it. It's normal. You fine. You fine. You're going to be fine. Go through the process anyways. Interference. So remember, we were talking earlier, the whole Lilith thing. Yeah, she's not going to be allowed to interfere once you make the decision and commit to the decision to reclaim your narrative. Some of you don't want to go through shadow work. You're going to be fully immersed in shadow aspects. Everything in your shadow are the parts of you that you have rejected and partitioned from your conscious awareness of self. If you're going to be retrieving powerful parts of you that will enforce boundaries in an appropriate way, it's not always about fighting. You're going to have to go through shadow. because that's where you stored it. It's like being afraid to enter your closet when you know damn well, babe, you got to change your underwear. That shit's in your closet. You got to go into the closet. You've been sweating and you starting to smell funky. You got to change your clothes, right? Okay. So do you have like some type of staff that lives in the closet that can go through all your clothes, pick out your clothes and exit the closet and hand it to you? No. So you're going to have to go in the closet. You're going to have to go in the closet. The closet is your shadow side. Pick the outfit, pick the parts of you, consciously choose it. I used to go into my shadow aspects and kind of just like, soul, don't let it hurt too much. I'm not joking. Like, please don't let it hurt too much. I'm trying, soul. And now I'm like, stop. I want to pick my own outfit. Okay, I like that part of me. We'll let that come through. Oh, well, it's a little bit sassy. It's okay. We're entering into a sassy phase. It's all my choice now. I'm no longer afraid of entering the closet. I've reorganized the closet. It's color coordinated. It is impeccably, impeccably organized. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Get to that point. Once you get to that point, your soul will no longer feel separated from you. You will no longer dissociate. Dissociation is a way for you to go ahead and cope with experiences that you don't yet have the ability to process. You'll never develop the ability if you don't start facing things, right? You might not yet be able to fully face the most difficult parts or the entirety of the experience, but you could face maybe a smaller aspect like, how are you seeing yourself that's distorted and making the problem much harder for you? Are you seeing yourself as weak? Well, here's the thing, you're still present. The fact that you're still present tells me that you have successfully survived every single attempt to destroy you thus far. So are you weak? Probably not. Do you simply erroneously see yourself as weak? Probably. Probably. Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's what's happening. So then you can begin working on things. You tackle one thing at a time, your growth is ensured. You will grow. You'll get through it. All right. Things are being clarified. You are ready, but you're waiting. And what are you waiting for? Instructions from soul. You need to listen and you need to listen closely. There is something that's going to be provided to you, some type of confirmation, instruction, a feeling, a shift, something, okay? And what this is, it's going to cause you to become reactive momentarily. Do not allow it to go beyond momentarily. You have to talk yourself down from that ledge. Allow yourself to feel it for a moment, or maybe a couple moments, a few minutes, an hour, where you have privacy. Okay. If you wild out, because this gal over here, where is she at? Hold on. This gal right here, remember this upside down goddess, Lilith, her toxic parts. She's waiting. This is a process we're all going to go through. She's going to be waiting, and she will absolutely weaponize that moment. She will weaponize that moment and use it to drain you in an accelerated manner. It will compound your struggle. It will make it much, much worse. So have that reaction inside. Have it in private. Calm yourself down. Get recentered. and then plan how you're going to have a revolution. Share your plans with no one. Because again, it's a sense that for many of you, maybe even for me as well, there is someone or multiple someones who are in your life, in your circle, specifically to infiltrate, specifically to watch what you have going on so that they can better plan how they are going to sabotage your efforts. There are people who exist who are like this. Let them exist in your absence. And that's that. Let them exist in your absence. Do not participate. Do not allow. Do not give access. Your revolution, it doesn't have to be a violent one. Maybe what needs to happen is simply a revolutionary new way to see yourself. And in that new view of you, you'll be able to make different decisions that will lead to even more profound growth, amplified abundance, richness of healing on such a deep level. Your life can change, and it should be allowed to change, but it will not change until you reclaim your narrative. It just won't. Don't lie to yourself. To expect change by doing the same thing you've always done. Someone said that that's the definition of insanity. And you're like, I know, it's crazy. Here's the thing: insane people don't think they're insane. That means you're faking being crazy. That character needs to stop. That storyline needs to be closed out. And you simply need to walk forward in life. Okay. I have some things to share with you guys. So I do have another morphogenetic fundamentals workshop coming up. The date has been listed on the website. It is limited seating. Click on the QR code or the link in the comment if you've missed the opportunity before, or if you're new to me, go check it out. Go check it out. And then I also have a very powerful 2-day in person retreat event. I'm going to be speaking in depth about whole being wellness, how to get healthy, how to eat for your frequency, how to completely change your health journey into a powerful, sustainable one. And then on the second day, I'm going to be talking about soul based business, getting you empowered and disconnected from this oppressive, fallen patriarchy so you can become independent, self reliant, and become stabilized within your life. This has limited tickets as well. Okay. It's going to be in spring of 2025. The exact dates and the exact location is not given publicly because some people be fucking crazy. So once you do purchase, you're given that information and you'll have plenty of time to plan your accommodations. In addition, tonight I'll be live to do expedites. This is where I do advanced energy work, scans, readings, etheric quantum medicine work. If you'd like me to do something for you, this is the best time to purchase. So I'll be live 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then yeah, click on that QR code or the link in the comment. For those who are on TikTok, everything that I've shared on the screen, you probably can't click it because heaven forbid TikTok cooperates, but you can access all of this, every single last one of everything that I'm talking about, by clicking on the link in my bio. That's basically like a link tree. My Hubi link has information on all my events, all my platforms, the work that I do, everything. So if you're ever curious about any events, any different offerings, you could always check the Hubi link. It's on my bio on TikTok. So I will see you guys again very soon. I hope everyone has an amazing rest of your day. Come back 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, everybody.